Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Kristin's Kitchen. Today I am so excited about the recipe we're going to be making because I tried this dessert about 3 years ago because we had a little Portuguese bakery by our old house here in LA, and my sister told me I had to try you gotta try a Pastel De Nata. Tried it, fell in love, literally a magical little cup of homemade puff pastry filled with delicious homemade vanilla cinnamon custard. So good. Literally nothing bad ever you could say about one of these things. They are so delicious. So that's what we're gonna be trying to make today. I've never made custard before. I've always been a little bit intimidated by making custard, but I think we're gonna do great today. I've done a lot of research on this recipe. I'll of course have the original recipe linked down below, but let's just begin because we need to start on our homemade puff pastry. So let's go. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna be starting on our puff pastry dough. I watched a few videos on a few different techniques that you can use for this, but I think I chose the easiest route to go and the quickest route. Hopefully we'll see how this goes, but basically we're just gonna start by measuring out all of our ingredients. So I have my handy dandy little kitchen scale here. If you don't have one of these, I would highly recommend it if you love baking because it makes your measurements super precise. So first we're gonna start by measuring out 300 grams of all-purpose flour. And during this crazy time, I feel like I've been able to find pretty much all ingredients that I've been needing except for flour. Flour has been one of the things that I've had a lot of trouble finding, and a lot of you have told me the same. I never would have thought flour would be the thing that was gonna be out of stock everywhere. I guess everybody kind of wants to bake and eat delicious things to get their mind off of everything. Okay, so here is what 300 grams of flour looks like. I'm gonna add this to the bowl of my stand mixer. Okay, now we're gonna measure out 210 milliliters of water into our bowl, and we're gonna add this to our stand mixer as well with that flour. And then I'm also gonna add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then you're gonna wanna grab your dough hook attachment, and we're gonna beat this on a medium speed. Okay, looking good. As you can tell, the mixer is still going. I just wanna let you guys know it is gonna be a sticky dough, so don't be worried if it is a little bit wet, but you do want it to just be pulling away from the side of the bowl. Okay, I think this is what we are looking for. As you can see, the dough is sticky, but it isn't touching the side of the bowl really. For this part, something that's gonna be really helpful is having a dough scraper, something like this. This is such a handy tool, especially when you're making pastry dough, bread dough, anything like that. So let's flour our surface so the dough doesn't stick. I just cleaned my counter, don't worry. Rolling out dough is always something that is the messiest cleanup because the dough, gets all over the counter, there's flour everywhere, but you just gotta, appreciate the process. So I floured the top of the dough, and now we're just gonna let this sit for about 15 minutes. I'm gonna cover it with some plastic wrap just to let it, all meld together. I think that is just usually important to let your dough rest. So I will see you in 15 minutes. Okay, our lovely little dough has been resting for 15 minutes. Now it's time to start the lamination process. So basically what that means, it's just a baking term for creating buttery layers throughout pastry dough. So for this, we're gonna need, now it's been 15 minutes. So we're gonna need 180 grams of very soft butter because this dough is gonna be super delicate when we roll it out and we don't wanna make tears in the dough. We're also gonna need a little pastry brush to wipe off any excess flour. If you don't have one of these, you can honestly just use a clean fluffy makeup brush to go shoop shoop shoop. Grab your handy dandy rolling pin and also get some flour on this as well. And then we're just gonna start rolling. This dough is so soft and pillowy, so I'm gonna be very gentle with it. And now this is where we're gonna take our softened butter and we're gonna put it on 1/3 of the dough. I'm just gonna use my fingers to place the butter. Ooh, I might just use my fingers because I feel like I have most control with my fingers. And hey, everybody has fingers. Okay, now we're gonna fold the piece that has no butter on it into the middle, and take our pastry brush, brush off any of the excess flour. And then we're gonna pick up our buttered side and place that right on top. Okay, now we're actually gonna flip the dough to this way. So we're gonna go zoop with the dough. So I'm gonna grab my bench scraper. I'm gonna put a little bit more flour on the surface so it doesn't stick. And we're gonna just try our best to turn this baby around. They said you can actually kind of flip it over on itself to make it easier to pick up. So that's what I'm gonna do. This is tricky because this dough is super delicate. I think we did it. Now we're gonna put it back into a rectangle. Okay, so now basically we're just repeating the entire process that we just did. So we're rolling it back out into a rectangle, dusting off your excess flour, which I don't know why, but this is like my favorite part. I just got this on Amazon, by the way. I'm just gonna do the same technique that I used before with my fingers. There's actually some methods where you like pound out a rectangle of cold butter and then you fold it into your pastry, let it rest, and do all of that. But I feel like maybe this way is just like a quicker way. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna fold this over, dusty dust, dusty dust. And we're gonna roll this out one more time. Definitely a labor of love. Okay, now the only thing different about this part is that we are actually gonna be buttering the entire surface of this dough. So we're not gonna just be doing, you know, 2/3 of it. So I'm gonna just place the butter all over. Okay, now we're actually gonna roll the dough into a tiny little kind of like cinnamon roll, what you would think of that. I'm just gonna start rolling. Again, the dough is very fragile, so I'm gonna be very careful with this. Okay, and there we have it. That was a little bit stressful. I feel like I didn't roll out the dough thin enough maybe, but I think it will end up being fine. But we're gonna let this chill in the fridge actually for, how long? For about 15 minutes. Okay, it's time to make the custard filling, and while I was about to film it, the yard guy came, so it was really loud outside. So I already measured out all of the ingredients that we're gonna need for the custard, so I'm just gonna show you me putting them together. So I'm gonna grab a little whisk out of my drawer, and right here we have a little bit of flour and cinnamon. I'll have all the exact measurements down below, but just for the sake of time, this is what we have here. We're just gonna whisk this together. Then we're gonna add in 25 milliliters of whole milk to this mixture. So we're gonna whisk that all together till there's no little dry powder clumps. Wow. Powder clumps. So that is all combined. Now I have 3 egg yolks right here. I just got cinnamon everywhere, and I'm gonna add those. Someone DM'd me the other day and was like, with all the baking you do, you probably have really strong arms because you have to whisk all the time. I'm like, maybe I do have strong arms from baking. You really do have to build up your arm endurance. Kind of looks like pumpkin pie mix. So we're gonna set that aside, and then we need 2 saucepans. I have my 2 right here. Okay, I'm gonna start with the, I think she called it like a caramel. So in here I have 85 milliliters of water, and then I have 120 grams of just plain granulated sugar. I'm just gonna put this over like a low heat until just the sugar dissolves. Okay, here's our second saucepan, and all we have in here is whole milk, a cinnamon stick, and then I did add a tiny bit of vanilla extract because I don't have the vanilla bean, which I'm so sad about, but I could barely find vanilla extract at the store. So if you've got a vanilla bean at home, I'm jealous of you. And we're actually bringing this mixture up to a complete boil. Okay, this is literally the most important part. I'm just gonna add the milk into this egg mixture, but you have to keep whisking really vigorously while you add this hot mixture, or else your eggs will scramble, and that is not what we want. Okay, so I'm adding this very slowly and whisking. I did a lot that time. All added. Why did I feel so much pressure? Now we're also gonna slowly add in this like water and sugar mixture, and you don't have to be as worried about this one because you've already like tempered your custard, so it probably won't scramble. Okay, so now all we need to do is strain this mixture. Do I have a strainer is the question. Yes, I do. I'm very happy about that. I'm actually gonna strain this mixture into a bowl with a little like lip at the end because this will make it easier to pour into our puff pastry. So let's strain this. I don't know why it needs to be strained, but she said. Guys, I think we just made custard and I'm very proud of us. So here is what our mixture looks like. Now it's just time to form our little pastry cups. So I'm gonna be using a muffin tin. Okay, we're gonna grab our pastry dough out of the fridge. Oh my gosh, her dough looked way harder than my dough. My dough is still really soft. Oh no, maybe it's okay. I don't know. Her dough looked hard as a rock. Did she put hers in the freezer? I thought she said fridge. Oh no, let me check on this. Chill for at least 30 minutes. She said the fridge, so I don't know why my dough is so soft still, but I think it'll be okay. Okay, let's figure this out. It'd be really nice if I had like a cameraman to like film what I'm doing in these, because I feel like it's hard to get good angles when I do these videos. You get like the same two angles, but it's okay. We love the homemade feel, don't we? I'm taking our dough, it's very soft, and I'm putting it out into the counter that has some flour on it. Okay, here's the part where you're supposed to measure, but I hate measuring things, so I'm not gonna measure. But you should measure if you like things to be super precise. I just really hate, I don't even think we own a ruler, to be honest. Okay, so we're gonna try to get about 8 of these. I guess this is why you're supposed to measure. You can kind of see the little layers of butter in there. You can't see them as clearly as hers though, which is freaking me out. But we're gonna pop them into our muffin tin. I think Paul and Mary from the Great British Baking Show would say, I don't know about that lamination, Kristin, and then I would probably cry. Now we need a little bit of water to dip our fingers in, and we're kind of just gonna press this and make it a little like cup for our custard to sit in. That worked. I feel like my muffin tins are kind of small. You know what? Maybe it's okay. Okay, here is what we're working with. I don't know if you can tell, but the pastry is not thin, and I don't know. Something just feels like it should be thinner. Okay, here we go. Okay, so basically for this recipe, it's very important that you preheat your oven to the highest temperature that it goes to. For my oven, that is 500, and these are gonna cook pretty fast. They're gonna cook in like 8 to 10 minutes. And the signature thing about a Portuguese custard tart is that the top is like a little bit blackened, and it has like little black bubbles on it. And then we're gonna sprinkle them with some powdered sugar, and I hope these will be delicious. I really hope. Okay, I wanna be very careful not to spill these. Of course, Camper decides to sit right behind me. I just scorched my finger. I scorched it. Okay. Okay, they're in the oven. I scorched my finger because I'm all nervous, and wow, that was hot. Okay, see you guys in 8 minutes. I feel like I was keeping everything so clean, and then once you hit like a panic mode, that's when everything becomes a disaster. Like, what is going on? I don't know. I can't really see because they're so close to the top of the oven, but I can't tell if what is happening is good or bad. We still have 2 minutes on the timer, so I'll keep you updated, but I'm just currently sitting here praying that these come out good. Okay, they're definitely done. Definitely done. Whoa, baby. Okay, here they are. They're all supposed to have like this kind of vibe to them. There's like butter everywhere, which means I didn't laminate my dough properly. I either didn't let it cool long enough, or maybe I didn't. Look, can you tell I'm really confused? I'm just gonna pull one out. Okay, see, that looks pretty good. No soggy bottom in sight. So that's good. Okay, I feel much happier. I was actually sitting over there like having an existential crisis. I was like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna have to refilm this whole video? Should I just post it even if it's a huge massive fail? But I feel like this wasn't a huge massive fail. And especially the test will be if these taste good. So I'll be right back after these cool. Okay guys, I'm sorry if it's a little bit loud, but I had to open all of our doors because I set off the fire alarm because I accidentally kept the 500-degree oven on. It was smoking, so sorry if you hear some extra like plain noise. But now I'm just gonna dust these really lightly with some powdered sugar. Wow, that is magical. I think you're gonna need a close-up of this because it's literally heavenly. So here is the final product. I feel like honestly, these look way cuter than I thought. The pastry might be a little bit too thick, but come on, they look delicious. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Oh my gosh. Why is this so good? This is 10 out of 10. Amazing. Here's what I'll say. The pastry needed to be a little bit thinner. I need to just let these sit out a little bit longer so the custard can set up because it's still a little bit runny. But these are so good. It's perfectly sweet. It's crispy on the outside. The creamy custard is so flavorful and delicious. Oh my god. What? Okay, Marcus is here. I dragged him out of his workspace. He was welding. Do you remember the Portuguese bakery that was right by our old house? Did you ever have one of their custard tarts? I don't think you did. This is a Portuguese custard tart with homemade puff pastry and vanilla custard.
Hold on. Say it again. Should I expect sweet or savory?
Sweet. Sweet.
Okay.
It's like sweet vanilla. You have to maybe close.
Mmm. Chansodery. Wow. That's very good.
Isn't that like kind of unique too?
Very unique. They look incredible.
Don't they look so pretty?
I like the crunch and like the soft.
Yeah, it's like soft, creamy middle. Do you actually really do like it?
I used to not be a dessert guy. I didn't care about dessert. After this quarantine, I'm like, where's the dessert? Like with every meal, I'm starting to turn into her.
That's how I change people to the dessert addicts.
I need to finish welding our seat for our bike.
Love you, custard tart.
I love you, custard. See ya.
No words. Just love. Okay guys, well I think that wraps it up for today's Kristin's Kitchen episode. This was definitely something different, something I've never tried before, but it is so good and I really hope that you guys try it. I feel like it's a really good spring dessert because it's like, I don't know, it just like looks springy and happy and adorable. Please tag me if you guys try out this recipe. I'd love to see all your creations. Look at Camber. Say hello. Hi. Oh, he wants one so bad. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I love you so much and I will see you very soon. Bye. I didn't know I was still rolling.